Hello, everyone. This is Zones. I got back from Pasadena a few hours ago today. Um, it was a huge blast. The idea for this video comes from a conversation I had between rounds with some of the NorCal guys, especially Bomi, just about our flipped off of Chipper Skipper. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about how much we love to see certain cards from the top four we flip off of Chipper Skipper. If you're new to Chipper Skippering, right, let's explain what this card does. Chipper Skipper is a 2 play point 1/1 Arcana Elf um, with a persistent effect to whenever a mercenary follower is put onto your field, give it +1/+1 and rush. This is a translation of her mobile game effect, which was to create evolved fighters, right? Fighter is a mercenary in this game. Um, and so then on evolve, Chipper Skipper will look at the top four cards of your deck. You may put a follower that costs two or less. Any follower that costs two or less, no class restriction. From among them into your EX area, it will cost two less to play this turn. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So you're kind of just trying to flip up a card that you can immediately summon off Chipper Skipper. If it's a mercenary, you get the bonus effect, right? So um, this is what I've picked here, and back on the tier list here are 14 cards that I think are pretty common in Sekka decks. To that are valid targets for Chipper Skipper's Evolve effect, and we're gonna look at sort of how much we like seeing these based on a number of criteria, such as how often they're good, when they're good, how conditional it is that they're good, and how good they are. I'm using good, but yeah, I mean they're all pretty good, right? If you don't see any of these though, you're generally sad, right? So that's gonna be seeing any of these is pretty much better than seeing none of them. So to get things started and sort of set the pace for discussion, I will just put the best card first to show everyone what every card is being compared to. And that is going to be Alice Golden Afternoon. Alice Golden Afternoon, we're going to come back here. On Fanfare, draw a card, already good, right? I tell people often that if you're going first, you're pretty happy just playing Alice on two. It's like fine. Second Fanfare, and this is only this in Forest. This is activated by Chipper Skipper. Select an enemy follower that costs four or less on the field. If this card wasn't put onto the field from hand, i.e., put from EX off of Chipper Skipper's effect, put the selected follower into its owner's EX area. So this is effectively bouncing the card. The only time it's not quite bouncing the card is on a token or on an advanced follower, right? Advanced followers are just things that come from EX area. Effectively, a judge might tell me otherwise. So, um, Alice is insane. Even if you don't get the second effect off of Chipper Skipper, you're still getting an adequate board that draws you a card. And making sure you have gas going is a challenge for almost all Forest decks. I mean, our curve is extremely low in this deck. We need to see more cards, but a timely bounce on an opponent's follower that is card advantage neutral and tempo positive is pretty devastating in most situations. So that's why Alice is in this tier. She is. I mean, as soon as this came out in 11.5, Forest skyrocketed from like a tier 2 deck to, I would say, the best deck in the format, even before we got Sekka. So that sets the pace of tone for the discussion. Let's go to what I think an A tier card would look like is Vagabond Lizard, and this kind of looks at some of the other criteria in this list. Vagabond Lizard is explain what the card does, right? So 2 play point, 2/2, Wasteland Mercenary. You may put a bullet bike onto your field or into your EX area, put a beautiful steed token into your EX area. Now, Vagabond Lizard's not really a card that you want to see and have to play from hand most of the time. Using him to immediately impact the board uses up the resource that you really want from Vagabond Lizard, which is the bullet bike token. The bullet bike token is an extremely powerful flexibility tool for other parts of the game. Now, you are pretty happy if you can save the bullet bike for other uses. These other uses being to rush Sekka one play point form into anything to get her in the cemetery, rush an advanced Sekka when you have to advance one out in the mid game, and uh, third mode is to rush to buff any Wasteland follower for going face for one attack, and then you can also just rush any follower. That follower won't get +1 attack, but it will gain rush, which can be very important in clearing off some boards. So the bullet bike is insanely good, but paying two for it and paying two to not immediately use it, right? Not immediately impact the board is a rough uh, price to pay. Oh, and last words. Dutiful Steed token in your EX area. This does help get extra damage for thresholds, and in Wasteland variants also helps you get your Giant Pastures damage. But right, so the synergy with Chipper is insane because Chipper almost guarantees that you can save that bullet bike. And buffs the stat line on Vagabond Lizard to be a lot. Also, right, compared to Quixotic Adventure, the other mountain generating card, Vagabond Lizard costs one more. That you are cheating on that cost as well. So all around, Vagabond Lizard is a card that gets a lot better when flipped off of Chipper Skipper. When normally it's just like, okay, I'm gonna play this when I have nothing better to do. Okay, so let's go and look at another card here. I think I'm going to put in the C for Chipper. Sometimes you will find another copy of Chipper Skipper. I don't think I need to explain what she does again. It is, and this is the only thing you can choose, or sometimes it's the best thing you can choose. And the idea here is that in some matchups, your opponent is going to be hard pressed to have removal. Sometimes you have Spinari, Unwavering Will in your hand, so that the other Chipper Skipper, it will draw your opponent to inefficiently remove her, and then you'll be able to get her back out of the cemetery, get that double Chipper Skipper going. The good thing is that a second Chipper Skipper is very threatening. The bad thing is that, let's say in a matchup like Wasteland Sword, you do this on 3 going first or on 2 going second. On 2 going second is a little better because your opponent cannot immediately evolve a Leod on you and clear everything, right? Because they'll be on 3 play points that turn. But on 2 going second, on 3 going first, your opponent can, going second opponent's sword, can just Leod, evolve the Leod, kill both your Chipper Skippers, which is a little unfortunate. It could be okay also, right? Now we are now playing a deck that can play into that. It's also just that if you don't have the mercenaries, see, right, conditional issues, if you don't have mercenaries in hand, the second Chipper doesn't threaten a lot. And your opponent doesn't always have to respect that because the number of mercenary followers being played in these decks is not always that consistent. Although I do think, the baseline should be there. So, yeah. Let's see. I think another. What should we do now? Let's put Nelcha somewhere. I think Nelcha belongs in the B tier. Okay. And why this is that, let's contrast Nelcha to Chipper. Um, Chipper, the second Chipper needs to either have cards in hand or the Evo point to do something with. Right. Her full potential cannot be used because you cannot evolve her. Nelcha does require you to be able to hit combo 3 to do something, but she has a bigger stat line. And the combo effect works really well on a turn that you've already evolved. And she also does, like, let's say you get Nelcha out on 2 going second, your opponent generally will want to immediately remove her. It is pretty easy to get combo 3 on turn 3 going second, no matter what your opponent does, right? If they kill your Chipper, you can Spinario the Chipper back, evolve the Chipper, do some, play the card you find off Chipper, now you have combo 3 for Nelcha. So Nelcha draws removal, which can be good or bad. She can help protect the Chipper. She puts the opponent in a spot where they have to decide whether when you get her out in turn 2 what to do, and on turn 3 she's usually going to be active going second, turn 4 going first, right? When you have the extra card to play. So I think that's why Nelcha belongs in the B tier. Now we go to Cheshire Cat. And we're looking at the criteria of this list. I put Cheshire Cat in the sorry. Let's go back and look at what Nelcha does, right? Sorry. Right, so Nelcha, this is a card that's been around for a long time. Combo 3, choose one of the following. 1, select another follower in your field and give it +2/+2. 2, select an enemy follower in the field, give it -2/-2. These modes are both very strong in terms of influencing the board, buffing your own Keen Edge, your own 3-cost Spinaria, your own Sekka. Anything on your field, really, is going to make it hard for your opponent to deal with your board. And also, she doubles as extra removal for your opponent's problem followers. So, yeah, I mean, pretty intuitive. But the combo 3 requirement, it can be rough. Okay, well, I'm going to move to Cheshire Cat now. So, no editing here. Cheshire Cat, on Fanfare, select a follower or a leader or enemy follower on the field and deal it 1 damage. If this card was put on the field from hand, deal 2 damage instead. 1 play point 2/2. And then we're gonna go with I don't know what we'll go with. And then the second part of Cheshire Cat is to activate and engage her, which means you're gonna use this effect after attacking. Put this card on the bottom of its owner's library. Select an enemy fabled follower on your field. or an EX area and place 2 Fable counters on it. This is going to be a little more optional, but there are Fable variants of um, Sekka, right? With cards like Lilac, Beauty and the Beast, or Flower Princess. Those Fable counters can do a lot of work. And recycling the Cheshire Cat is kind of can be both positive and negative because you do need Cemetery for Sekka. That said, we are purely looking at how for this we're looking at how good a Cheshire Cat is off of Chipper, and it's actually twice as good as normal, right? Because you get the bonus effect here from Cheshire Cat. This is intended to work with Fable, but it will also work with Chipper Skipper. The stat line on Cheshire Cat's not impressive, but 2 damage, it's twice as good as 1 damage. It'll help you, obviously, but it helps you get a lot of breakpoints. It sets up combo plays too. And also, you can save it for another turn. You can save a 1 play point Cheshire Cat in your EX. This is one where flexibility actually makes it even better. I wouldn't say it's S tier, but let's say you have a 1 play point Cheshire Cat from a chipper on turn 2. You can save it. Save that for a turn 3 play up Cheshire, Wildflower Tiger. Like, still not amazing, right? Because of other things. Maybe save it for turn 4. The point is that you don't have to use it immediately if you can see combo lines with it. Because the you don't yeah, right. So that's where the modality will make this better than otherwise it would be. I think if you were always using Cheshire immediately, she might shift down a little bit or down here. Maybe still not as good as Vagabond Lizard. I'm sure I'm trying to figure out where these are in the tiers, but yeah, opinion based anyway. So let's look at one that I think is not going to be very good, and probably one of the worst ones here is Cactus Cowboy. This is just a card that is in Wasteland variants of this deck, right? Cactus Cowboy has a lot of the quick stock adventurer text, which I should have done first, but yeah, fanfare, put a beautiful steed in your EX area. Last word, select me, follow on the field, and if there are at least 3 mount cards on your field and or EX area, deal it 3 damage. Um, this is just a very low stat line. The last words does have some applications. One thing that is funny is to have 2 of these out against Kagero, and they play Dragonic Overlord at the end, and they forget to attack you first before activating. You can have both your Cactus Cowboys shoot Dragonic Overlord at the end, right? But without a ward, this is not going to come up because they can always attack first. Other, but that's one particular funny interaction. This last words effect does have a lot of uses. I think the main thing you're looking at with Cactus Cowboy is the Wasteland trait here and a Dutiful Steep. But that's said, the Verdant trait here is completely useless. The stat line is bad. The last word's marginal without other ways to activate it, which we can get into. All right, either the Dutiful Steed or some other interactions. So that's why I think, and overall, you'd rather just play him from hand. He has no bonuses for being found out chipper, so that is going to be a D tier. In fact, I am going to put another follower in the D tier here. Okay, actually, I'll put a contrast here, right? Shamu Shama Shamu Shama Posh Felines is actually going to have a lot of the similar criteria as Cactus Cowboy there in terms of being a card that confers no benefits from being seen off chipper. That said, there are game situations where your opponent is stuck at 1 or 2 health, um, and you will just use it. You can just use a chipper skipper evolve to search for a Shamu Shama off the top 4 to try to close that game, right? That's something that Cactus Cowboy can't do. Um, and yeah, let's go over what Shamu Shama Posh Feline does, right? Innately, 1/1 Storm, so quick later, but better already. Sword players are mad at us. Fanfare, select enemy follower on the field. If you're a combo 5, deal it 3 damage. This is going to be pretty hard to achieve in second deck, but it can happen. And then this is the main mode here. Strike, combo 3, give this follower +1/+1. So if you achieve combo 3, the immediate turn you play Shamu and Shama, they become a 2/2. And this effect is once per turn, right? Because it's a strike. Well, technically, it's whenever it strikes. If you had a way to restand them, you could keep doing this. Let's say something crazy like you attack into a bell ringer with combo 3. You play dolphin. You can attack into another bell ringer. You can't really go face with the second attack, but something like that, something silly. Okay. That said, Shimshama and Posh lines mostly just a quick blader variant, but the storm and the ability to deal 2 damage, right, is why we are a little happier to see them off chipper than we are to see Cactus Cowboy. Okay, on this note of storm followers off of chipper, and it also has to do with time of game, right? Because so let's do another contrast here is Elven Pikeman. Now this is going to not be a very common card, but he does show up. Let's look at Elven Pikeman 2 play point 2/3 Elf Hunter. Not a lot of text here, right? But why is he? Why did I place him higher than Shamu Shama, even though Shamu Shama is overall a better card? Um, well, his main drawback is his cost. Chipper Skipper accepts that entirely, and that is the optimal time to get him out. Also, on turn 2, if you find a Shamu Shama, you're not happy. You're probably going to still play them. On turn 2, you find Elven Pikeman. It's not as good as the other targets, but you're still in a pretty good spot. I mean, right? So, turn 2 going second, turn 3 going first. So, yeah. The Hunter trait is also not nothing. So, we're going to put Elven Pikeman there. I think I'm going to also put. Hmm. Right. So, the B tier is where you don't really get immediate uses, but with some setup, the payout are actually quite good. Or, um, it's that, or the you do get an immediate use, but it's not the best immediate use. So, on that note, let's put Quixotic Adventure. I would say at the top of B tier for now. Quixotic Adventure. This is a card I've mentioned a few times, but let's see what he does. Um, on Fanfare, it has an evolve effect for 4 play points. I have here for trivia purposes, but we will in Forestcraft we will almost never play this unless we try to make our opponent fear God or something. On Fanfare, put a dual steed token in your EX area. Very straightforward card. Wasteland Mercenary. Um, Dutiful Steed token and EX. Right, and why is this good? 2/1 stat line good, mercenary good, and 2 combo in 1 card. Right, so these are the things that we care about with Quixotic Adventure, and this is what Quixotic Adventures evolved is. 5/4. You may put all 3 tokens into your EX area or field, and all 3 mana tokens, and it's like okay, but it's not worth the evolve cost. Okay, and so I put Quixotic Adventure here because because low cost, you'd much rather play him off of play him with a chipper and play than find him off chipper, right? You're not getting that discount because he is efficiently costed, but he's not worth 2 play points of effects, right? All around, Quixotic Adventure is a great card. You're gonna be happy to see him. I would argue that I would probably rather see Quixotic Adventure off my chipper than an Elven Pikeman in most situations. I'm gonna get more use out of that horse over the course of the next few turns. The downside, of course, is that he is vulnerable to certain other cards in the tier list. But yeah, we can go from there. Now, let's let's go in and put another card that might be controversial. And if you disagree with any of these tierings or have cards that you think I should have added, feel free to sound off in the comments. Give me that engagement, please. We got to get more Shadowverse Evolve engagement going on, right? So I'm gonna put Wildflower Tiger into. I'm having a hard time deciding, but I want to put him in the high C tier. In fact, I'm going to move Shamu and Shama over by 1. And okay, so let's go over what Wildflower Tiger does. Windflower Tiger, jeez. Return a beast follower not named Windflower Tiger on your field to its owner's hand. Search your deck for a Salvia Panther, reveal it, add it to your hand, and shuffle. So, and a 2/3 ward. And Salvia Panther has the effect that if you return the beast to your hand this turn, she costs 2 play points less. Use a 3 play point 3/2 storm with an evolve. So the goal of Windflower Tiger is to be able to get this effect and get the Salvia Panther, and then ideally be able to play the Salvia Panther at the same turn. That said, actually, I'm going to move Windflower Tiger up to the bottom of tier B. Because I think it's easy to get caught up, and I just made the mistake now. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that you want to have a beast in play to get the Salvia Panther, and you want to be able to immediately hit the Salvia Panther. That is the dream scenario. And in fact, if all of those are happening, he's somewhere here. But it's not consistent, right? That said, it's often the case that you will be able to play Cheshire on 1, kill an opponent's follower, play Chipper on 2, get the Windflower. Might be your only choice. Use a bounce the Cheshire, and then go get the Salvia Panther, and that's kind of going +1, +1.5, right? Because you then recycle the effect of Cheshire at you get the Salvia Panther, you still get damage for next, right? You still have other threats off the Salvia Panther, so it's okay. It is okay, and you get a 2/3 ward body. So I think personally, I'm not fond of the Beast variant, but Windflower Tiger is an okay card to see. Yeah, so we have a bell curve going here. This is not on purpose. Yeah. So yeah, I moved that around because I kind of want to show some of the thought processes. Also, I'm doing this completely unscripted. Alrighty. Um, let's go and look at what we want to put Sekka on this. And I am actually going to put Sekka. Hmm, I would say at the bottom of A. Now, there's a lot of such situations where Sekka gets better. No, I don't think she belongs in bottom of A. Okay. Here's the thing. For something to be in A tier, I think I have to be happy to see the card uh doing a chipper evolve on 2. So let's do this actually. Quixotic, I'm actually fairly happy to see on 2. Um, but Sekka I will put top of B tier. And well, I guess we should go over what Sekka does. Look at the top fanfare. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a forest card cost two or less from among them, and add it to your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you revealed a card, discard a card, and then pay 3 and to activate, banish this card and 2 other cards from your cemetery. Yes, Sekka does have 3 in cemetery. Activate this. You may summon a Sekka Ninefold Blaze from your evolved deck. And then I realized I forgot to find the advance. But I think we're talking about Sekka deck, so I don't know. Sound off if you need me. If this video is terrible because I didn't explain what Sekka does, but yeah. Sekka just has she is generally still kind of one of the win conditions in the deck. You do need to find a Sekka eventually, in some matchups to win, like the mirror, um, right? If the game gets bogged down, but not always. That said, when you see a Sekka, you haven't found one yet. It's a good choice to see one. She helped you chain into another. If she's the only card you see that you can do, she can help you chain into another chipper, into an Elf Queen. So she helps you find a lot of the cards that you need, while also being found as your win condition eventually. That said, her immediate impact on the board is pretty bad, unless you have Resolve the Nine-Tailed Fox in your hand, in which case you can either play it immediately or you're threatening it. And if your opponent can't quite deal with the threat, then right, so not so good for them. So that's why Sekka I think sits in the B tier. I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, let's go to the next two. Uh, I'm saving the easiest one for last year. I'm gonna be. I think everyone knows what's gonna happen with one of these last 3, but let's some more thought provoking content here. Um, where would I put Elf Queen? I think I would put Elf Queen below Sekka on the B tier, right? The B tier here, I think, has developed itself as this tier of cards that have threats. They do something. They're just not the biggest cards you are to see on turn 2, um, off of Chipper, right? Which is kind of an establishing turn for Chipper. And let's go over what Elf Queen of Abundant Life does. So, 2 play point 1/2, not a great stat line. Has an evolve for 1, we'll get to that, and combo 3, draw a card. This is pretty good. When you kick a combo 3, which is turn 3 going second, right? Turn 4 going first. That is getting this effect at all is not bad, right? It turns her into a crappier Alice. Um, two tiers worth of crappier, yeah. And I forgot to get her evolve. On evolve, she will either deal 2 damage to an opposing follower, or 2 damage. No, she chooses 2 opposing followers. She will either split 2 damage between those followers, or on combo 3, split 4 damage. So right, why is that good? Well, it's removal. And if she's on the board, she threatens removal. Actually, uh, let's just do this. Yeah. Select up to 2 enemy followers on the field and deal 2 damage divided between them. Combo 3, deal 4 damage divided between them instead. Yeah. So yeah. Um, when you have Elf Queen on the field, right? If you can get the combo 3, if you don't get the combo 3, it sucks. But uh, the upsides is you get her in rotation into your cemetery for Spinaria Unwavering Will, so that's good. If that's in your hand, the value of getting this goes better. Sometimes you willingly choose an Elf Queen because you haven't seen one all game, and you're going to be out of Chipper Evolve Evos late on in the game. On turn 2, this is a scenario that came up in a game I had against Kure, is where Elf Queen was my only choice, but it ended up boxing out his while I was going first. I got Elf Queen on turn 3. It boxed out how strong his Miriam was. So there's setups you can do that kind of help make sure that you can um, secure the follow up parts of the game with Elf Queen. Well, Elf Queen overall, right, one of the best cards in the deck, but because because of how actually, I'm gonna move her below Nelcha though. I think because Nelcha can do a lot of the same things Elf Queen does, but be immediately useful. So yeah, like this, I think. Off of Chipper, not so good, but can be really good in certain situations. Okay, and then let's put. Where do we put Miriam, Mutinous Being? I do think. Hmm. This is hard. I don't have a lot of experience with this card. I think. Am I happy here or here? I think overall, Miriam probably belongs here. Um, B tier in this area. Maybe here? Maybe here. Miriam Mutinous Being. Because her effects are kind of tied up behind her Evo. Maybe here. Yeah. Overall, she's a strong card, right? Keep in mind this is off of Chipper though, and there's a lot of situational effects here, right? So, Miriam Mutinous Being evolve 2 play points. During your turn, whenever a follower is put into your field from your field to the cemetery, deal 1 damage to each enemy follower, and then on evolve, bury another follower, summon the Teenage Artifact token, and she retains her persistent effect. Now, what Miriam allows you to do is is to evolve her to bury a follower, often Chipper Skipper herself, but sometimes other followers, to make a Keen Edge artifact and get +2/+2. She will immediately deal 1 damage and then when the Keen Edge dies, when she dies, she'll burn your opponent for more damage, right? So, like, no, yeah. So Miriam can do a lot of burn damage later on in the game, and has a massive tempo swing effect between the burn damage and the Keen Edge artifact. That said, she doesn't do anything immediately off of Chipper, but she off of Chipper, right? But she has a lot of threats. It does make the opponent punish the opponent a little for not using removal earlier, if it's quick removal, so you can get some damage on your opponent quick removal. Although they could use it on her, and they probably should because her effect is really threatening. So that's kind of a wash. But yeah, like you can also find her and then trade to get that damage effect going. Although I don't know if you really want to do that because um you're relatively behind on board compared to other cards you can flip. So that's the thing. Maybe she's a little better than. So the trade-off between Elf Queen here is that Elf Queen gets you stats, she gets you tempo. So these two are going to be really close in terms of how much you want to see them off Chipper. And let's put, I guess, the second for last. Fina Dynamite Daredevil, right? Um, Insane card. Fanfare, choose the following. Look at top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal a follower that costs 1 play point from among them. Emphasis on follower. And add it to your hand. Put the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. 2, select me a follower that costs 1 play point in the field and destroy it. Fina's really good. Not much to say about it. She's an extremely powerful card. She's a 4/3 off of Chipper. She can destroy an enemy 1-drop, trade over something else. She can destroy an enemy, drop 1-drop, stand there to threaten a ton of damage. She can look at the top 5 for Chipper, right? Chipper's a one, not Chipper. For Sekka, Sekka's a 1-drop. 1-drop, 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 1-drop. Lots of great 1-drops, 1-drop. So yeah, no, Fina is the other card that you really want to see off of Chipper a lot of the time. I think the other decks even have insanely good 1-drops. I think Garo has 1-drops that can do like can be 3/3. Sekka can be like a 5/5 1-drop. Um, Sometimes you even want to you go like Quixotic and you play an if Abyss plays Ilgano, you'll just go Chipper. And the rare time it's okay to shoot Ilgano, but right you do that to protect your board to push even more damage. So yeah, Fina is very good. Later on, sometimes you'll have a funny decision between Fina and Sekka off of a Chipper, and you'll kind of want to get the Chipper because the Sekka because it's guaranteed to show up in your stuff, but like it's pretty bad for tempo, so you kind of just gamble off of a Fina. Like Fina just does is such a strong card. Um, yeah. So this is where I have the Chipper Skipper flips tier list. We got Alice and Fina, right? Sort of sitting on the S tier. The A tier is our neutral mercenaries. And Cheshire Cat. I think Cheshire Cat also does a lot of work. The B is kind of like where we have cards that we want to see eventually. That can do something immediately, or under the right conditions can be really strong. Uh, sometimes and sometimes like they get half their effects this turn, and then more effects next turn. C is like cards that are good, right? But often we would much rather choose something else, and I think D is like I didn't hit anything else. C and D, I guess you can kind of mix. I mean, honestly, maybe it's just like this. We may not even need a D tier. I might just be really hating on Cactus Cowboy, but I do think that there's a significant difference between seeing one of these and a Cactus Cowboy. So yeah, um, if you disagree, like I said, if you think any other card should be mentioned, sound off in the comments. I'd love to hear what you want to say. If you want to see more content like this, let me know. If you think this sucked, let me know as well, and how I can improve on this. Uh, I don't know. I can't really do a lot of other cards like this. So this is just something that I've played with so much that I have opinions on it. Thank you for watching this, and hope to see you soon.